Surely you must have read Hamlet at some time or other in your life. If you did, do you recall that line? There are more things in heaven and hell, Horatio, than ever dreamed of in your philosophy.
Good evening from Southeast Asia. We're going to do a special alien report tonight coming out of Georgia. They say exact location not given. It's fairly common, especially in older days. This is 1968. Time is 02:30, so 2:30 in the morning. Normally, we've got, over almost 10 years, we've got, I don't know, maybe 700, 800 possibly of these videos out. We've only just barely started recently on YouTube because our server got mad at us because our bandwidth was like, 200 times over their limit. So we got in big trouble. We had to move everything off to YouTube. We don't like YouTube. We don't. Okay. And this is a brand new channel. Currently, they're on the 10 Bears Travel channel. That's where you're probably finding this one. YouTube could jerk this channel at any given moment. That's why we don't like YouTube. We don't feel that we can rely on them, so that makes us very, very hesitant to put any serious work into YouTube. But anyway, if they go off of YouTube, they'll pop up again somewhere else. But the whole point is we have somewhere around 700 or 800 of these. In the early days, there were podcasts. Now they're video casts, whatever. And we've never done an alien report in the manner that we're going to do this one. Normally, I go through them and I go line by line and I look for bullshit in every single sentence and I call it. I stop and I explain why that sentence is bullshit. That can't be true. That's illogical. Okay, on this one, I'm not going to do it. God, it's going to be hard because I've got maybe 700 or more of these things out there, and I've done that for every single report for a decade, almost a decade, and it's going to be really, really, really hard to break that. But this particular report just deserves it. It requires that particular treatment. At the end, I'll tell you maybe why we're doing it this way. Maybe I won't say anything. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Okay, this is a longish one. Normally, if you've listened to our stuff before, it's a paragraph or 5 paragraphs or sometimes 2 or 3 pages, for a particular report. This one is, I don't even know how long. It's just longish. It goes on forever. It's very, very detailed. So if you don't like, very detailed stuff, this probably ain't for you. Let's just do it. I'll try to keep my trap shut all the way through it, except to just narrate the report. And then at the end, I don't know if I'll say anything about it or not. Okay. 4-year-old Celestian Falcon was with his family and father, a member of the military then, on their way to Florida from Tennessee in order to find temporary housing after his father had been transferred there. While driving through a long, winding country road in Georgia, after traveling for several miles, a strange lighted craft suddenly appeared about 200 yards in back of them off the left side of the road, hovering over a hill loft. Okay, I'm going to break a little bit here. I don't know what a loft is. It's a thing you in your attic in your home, right? I don't know what a loft is when they refer to it in this way, but somebody probably does. His mother screamed. I'm okay. I'm not going to pick this apart as I go. I'm going to just try to help you visualize the whole scene. So they're driving through a long, windy Georgia road, and those are dark, lonely. Special in 1968, you might drive all night and not see one car. Maybe monsters out there and creepazoids, God knows what's out there in the jungle, So mom was a little on edge. They're driving, and they see a light hovering over a hill loft. And the mom screams. Okay, the craft had large red lights and other lights that appeared to be coming from the top windows of the craft. A red glow surrounded it as it started to slowly head in towards them over an empty field. Remember, you don't remember, do you? I grew up on scary late night radio shows. God, I loved them. Green Hornet, Boris Karloff. Wish he would have been my dad. As his mother kept screaming, other cars began to pass them and almost shoved them off the road. 3 more cars from the opposite direction did immediate U-turns when they saw the hovering craft coming toward the witnesses. One car stopped behind them and pulled over to their right side of the road. Then their car engine shut off. His father looked back through his rearview mirror and saw the stopped car. Then, armed with a gun, he stepped outside to check the car engine. The UFO then began to turn towards the roadway. His father saw it and rushed back to the car and attempted to start the engine once more. Try to imagine yourself in this situation. Just put yourself in that car. You're a little kid. You're a little squirt punk kid in the back seat. How scared would you be? His mother then shoved, here he goes, Celestion to the back seat and covered him to hide him. She told him to sit still and not make a sound. The young witness then looked back through the rear window and saw the other stopped car about 40 feet in back of them. A young male went over to his passenger side and took out his young girlfriend from the passenger side. He attempted to hide her in the trunk. Then he saw several 5-foot-tall aliens surround the couple. The male driver pulled out a tire iron, but an alien touched him with a silver prod, and he went limp. They then put them in silver blankets and levitated them into the craft. Then a pinkish red light filled into the witness's car. He got down, covering up, and then everything suddenly became very quiet. Someone or something then opened the door. He felt hands and arms grab him and pull him out of his blanket. Then he blacked out. His next memory was of being inside the spacecraft. They were in a room of some kind. A reptilian-like alien was holding him. His mother was trying to get the aliens to give him back, but his father had decided it was best to let them take them and have what they wanted. Well, that's just poor dad. Okay, I'll shut up. I want to comment so bad. He was then taken downstairs. The witness then saw a large table with some type of probing device at the foot of it. On the other side were windows. He could see the night sky and part of the road through the windows. There were jars of human-looking fetuses rowed beneath the windows, lined up in rows. He saw another incubator-type device containing more jars of fetuses lined on a rack sealed to the wall just next to the doorway in front of him and adjacent to the windows. Next to the fetuses were 2 other doors. A couple of aliens walked in and out of one. They seemed to be refrigerated storage compartments. The aliens then sedated his mother with a silver needle and placed her on the large table. Then they took the witness down to the mid-level of the main entrance. There he saw 2 small green-skinned reptilian aliens sitting at a main flight control. Everything, including the floor, appeared to be made out of silver. A white light filled the room. The temperature in the room was comfortable. and a deep bass drone sound pulsated through the craft. Then all of a sudden, a woman's blood-curdling screams came from his left as he was facing the main entrance away from the aliens at the main flight console. The screams were coming from inside the vaulted room. He then also heard a male voice screaming, saying, "Help us, we are being attacked by monsters." He then heard some banging noises as apparently a fight ensued between the man and the aliens. 2 aliens came running out of a middle chamber where they were. One had a swollen cheek and had been bruised. The other alien behind him pushed an emergency release on the outside of the door. 2 more aliens came running out from the southeast hallway wearing white lab coats. They went into the room. The man tried to fight them off, but everything suddenly became silent. Then 2 more aliens came up on an elevator that was right behind the witness. They were wearing white astronaut suits that looked similar to NASA. They appeared to be about 4.5 feet tall, had large gray heads and large, round, human-like eyes. They wore clear bubble helmets. The suits appeared to be glossy and slick. They seemed to be wearing some type of gravity boots. One was holding a silver container box of some type. Then a strange human came out from a southwest quarter chamber from upstairs. He pushed a button at the top of the banister, then opened a small gate door connected between the banister handrails. An escalator rolled out from directly underneath the railings where he stood. As the escalator rolled out, he pushed another button, then lighted hand railings appeared on each side of the escalator. The lighted hand railings appeared to be working off of some type of remote sensors that were connected to the escalator. The escalator locked onto a platform at the bottom towards the center of the mid-level off to the side where the young witness was standing. As the human, quote-unquote, came down the escalator, he stood on the platform. He was wearing a skin-tight black suit with a V-shaped cap. He appeared to be Spanish and stood about 6 feet. He wore a strange patch on his left sleeve with emblems on it. The emblems appeared to symbolize some type of federation or star league. He had a sharp-cut beard. He spoke to the other aliens, and the witness could hear the short gray aliens communicating by using telepathy. They had been diving for a device they lost in a deep mud swamp and were trying to recover it. They had found only one part, but the main part remained lost somewhere at the bottom of the swamp. They feared the device was buried too deep in the mud or covered in weeds and sticks to be recovered. The human alien ordered them back out for a second search. As they exited, the young witness saw another room that appeared to be a maintenance vault. He was then escorted by 2 small grays down to the main engine room, through the main elevator. These grays stood 4.5 feet tall, with large slanted black eyes and hollow ears. The witness again hears their telepathic communication and understands that he is to be guarded by a mechanic in the engine room due to the fact that they were having problems with some of the abductees who had been fighting back. The main engine was about 3 to 4 feet high and about 7 to 8 feet long. The main engine had 3 cylinders on top with 2 long shafts that ran down on top of each side of the top cylinders. The mechanical engineer, in quotes, was a human astronaut, in quotes. He stood about 6 feet, was Caucasian, with thick, light brown short hair and a thick beard. He appeared to be about 37 years of age. He wore a heavily insulated orange space suit that was pocketed with remote attachments attachments down the pant leg thighs and the shirt sleeves. He worked on the main engine front, and the witness curiously approached to watch. It appeared that they were having engine problems, and at one point the witness saw what appeared to be blue-silver atom core. The alien mechanic told the witness to go into another room while he worked on the engine. He had hazel eyes, and his pupils were little tiny dots as if synthetic. Later, 2 gray aliens came back down and took the witness up to the mid-level. There he noticed the middle abduction door was opened. The 2 aliens then took him into this room. There he saw the young male hooked up to a vertical machine standing upright facing him. He appeared to be about 19 to 20 years of age with blonde hair and blue eyes. The machine was shaped like a T. To the right, I get it, like a cross, kind of a cross, like he's nailed to the cross kind of a thing. To the right were 2 mechanical machines. One displayed colors of fluids in tubes. The other machine under it displayed red beads of round, circular-looking lights on the inside. He had tubes in his sides of his, it's a bad sentence. He had tubes in the sides of his midsection, a device from the top of the upright, shaped like a T, folded out over his head. His eyes were wide open. His mouth was open with a black, flat piece inside it. He had a white, round, taped sensory patches and wires to his head, fingers, body, and feet. There were little spats of blood on the floor near his feet. To the left was a bed with a silver blanket that appeared to be space-age material, and the blanket they had used to levitate them. There was also an operations panel that seemed to be electrical and an alien performing functions on it. Then 2 aliens escorted him back out the main entrance room near the elevator again. Then something else happened. A call came from one of the green reptilian aliens at the main control. Quote, "We have been found by them. They are coming to destroy us." End quote. One alien was scared and wanted to leave in fear that they were going to be killed. The witness could still hear the aliens communicating telepathically with each other. Quote, "They are getting close. We only have about 12 minutes before they get visible approach." End quote. 2 Air Force jets became visible on digital monitor screens. They magnified one of the monitor screens, and he could see through the clear cockpit glass and could see the pilot's head and face as clear as day. As the pilots approached with weapons locked, the main entrance of the UFO breached and airlocked the spacecraft down. The locking breach was noisy and loud. It released a small white cloud of gas. He saw short, stubby aliens up on top of the southeast breach of the main entrance that performed the lockdown. They wore dark black robes and black hoods. Told you it was long. I don't think I have any reports with such detail. Their eyes were large, black, and appeared to be human-like. Their skin was gray. They looked very evil. The young witness made eye contact with one, and it glared back down at him as if he was worth nothing to him. The aliens at the console pulled out flat silver remote devices that attached to the main console and performed a program sequence to make the craft travel backward in time, locating the craft in another dimension of time and space. This was done according to the flight history of the craft that had relocated 40 minutes before they had been picked up by radar. A tall green alien then walked up behind the witness, picked him up, and placed him on a small silver table with wheels and laid him down on his back. Lost my place. This was done according to the flight history, yada, yada, yada. Okay. A tall green alien then walked up behind the witness, picked him up, and placed him on a small silver table with wheels and laid him down on his back. The tall reptilian alien stood about 7 feet, had large slanted black eyes, a tiny nose, and hollowed ears. Not sure what that means, really. At this point, the witness began to cry. The tall alien then touched him and communicated telepathically with him. He said, quote, "Do not be scared, you will be okay," end quote. He smiled at the witness and comforted him. Then, more small gray aliens surrounded the table. The witness then blacked out, but felt conscious inside. He felt the table being rolled up on an uplift and the feeling of being rolled back downwards. He woke up in another room or an abduction chamber. He was placed on a long table, and then aliens in white gloss robes walked out from in back of the room. The small robed aliens were grays. They told the tall alien that the witness was the wrong type, and they could not do any more to him. The tall alien ordered them to carry on with the abduction phase. The small aliens tried to argue, but the tall reptilian had the authority. The witness noticed a miniature laser lens strapped around the right side of the tall alien's head. Is that the pronunciation? Laser? A rack mount of machines over his head and a rolling laser machine rolled out through ceiling rollers over his body. Rings of oracular light swarmed his body. He clenched his teeth. He blacked out and then came to. Everything was fuzzy and hazy. The tall alien then placed a large silver needle on the witness' lower right calf. He could see machines lined across the side of the wall from the foot of the table. A small alien was taking out a tube from one of these machines. It had malfunctioned. The machine was then taken out and immediately replaced. Then alien technicians came back in with the original machine. It was shaped like a VCR and had a lighted tube that locked in place. He blacked out again, but could feel alien fingers poking inside his stomach. It produced a dull pain as he moaned and tried to roll over on his side. Then a tall angel, in quotes, came in and stood on the other side of the table, facing the reptilian creature. The alien looked at the reptilian and ordered it to put him back. Talking about the boy. It told them that the witness was a child of God and told the reptilian it had been sent by God. It told the reptilian that if they did not take the witness back, they would be destroyed. The reptilian said that they were not going to harm him and that they would return him as they found him. The angel then said, "This is your last warning. Put the child back now and let them go, or you will be destroyed." The angel then disappeared. The reptilian pointed over to where the angel had stood and said to the other grays, "Did you see that? What was that?" He then looked down at the witness and asked, "What are you?" Thinking that he had somehow produced the angel's spirit, the reptilian then said, "I don't know what you are or what that thing was, but we are going to find out." It ordered the grays to go after the angel to find it and bring it back. The witness awoke back in the mid-level near the elevator where they had performed the abduction on him. The tall alien then sat him on the floor. His body felt dense, heavy, and mushy, and his legs were limp. However, he felt cheerful and happy to be alive. He wanted to play with the small reptilians at the main control. They could read his mind and were rude when they said, "We can't play games with you. What do you think of us now? You think we are evil now, don't you?" Aliens then smirked at him. Soon, the Spanish human astronaut came back out and ordered to release the witness and his family. They were taken out and put back in their car. He remembered that his mother sat limp and his father was in a trance state. His father had red burns on the left side of his face. Then he came to about the same time as his mother, as she awoke screaming, quote, "Step on it, step on it," she cried. The young witness looked back as the car sped away, and he could see one of the friendly aliens waving goodbye. He waved back. The craft then shot straight upward and arced into space and then vanished. The witness reported later home visitations by spaceman-type aliens wearing black skin-tight suits, silver belts, and gadgets attached to them. They walked through the walls. The next day, neighbors reported seeing a UFO early in the morning hours from about 1:40 a.m. to the time the whole family awoke from a trance in the living room. The crafts resembled lighted silver discs. The young witness' father reported the incident to the military officials, and he was told that it could have been a secret military V craft. The end. Now, I've decided, after doing this thing, I've decided how to handle it. I know something about this report. Where'd it go? I lost it. I know something. I lost it again. Hold on. Okay. I know something factual about this report. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Not right now. I've done several treatments of this particular case over many years. I think I've probably presented this report probably 3 times, maybe 4. I'm not sure. And I've gone through it sentence by sentence, and assigned points to credibility or taken points away from credibility. That's the way I have always done these reports, and that's the way I've always done this report. I do not normally do these repeatedly, only this one. And there's a reason for it. Anyway, I know something about this report. I know something very, very, very important about this report. And I ain't going to tell you. But what I'm going to do is, if you want to know badly enough what I know about this report, then you go in the comments on YouTube. If you're going straight from our website, there's not a comments section. You get a hold of us through Twitter. There's links all through the website. Stockphotosworldwide.com or alienanalprobe.com or theyclaim.com. They all take you to the same material. And there's links to get at us through Twitter on all those pages. In YouTube, you just go to the comments, and ask us to tell you what we know. Now, if 1 or 2 or 3 people ask, we don't really care. I mean, maybe a little bit. If enough people ask, I will do this one again, and I'll give it the full Monty. I'll give it the full treatment, and we'll assign points to it. Every sentence will get an assignment of points, positive points or negative points, and at the end, then I'll tell you what I know. Alrighty. That was Boris Karloff in the beginning, by the way. Okay, we'd be done for now. I want to tell you. I want to tell you really badly, but no, I'm not going to ruin it. All right. Thank you very much. Good evening. Oh, man. Things that go bump in the night. And good night.
เคยอกหักใจมันสิจำแต่เรื่องเก่าบ่มีผู้ใดลืมมันได้ง่ายดอกแม้มีเรื่องราวที่น่าจดจำผ่านเข้ามาสุดท้ายก็ยังหอยหาความหักเดิมใจเจ็บจดจำยิ่งนานผ่านวันกลับเพิ่มเติมแรกเราเริ่มสุดท้ายเหลือแค่เฮาใส่บอกว่าฮักตั้งแต่น้องใส่บอกว่ามีแค่เฮาสองสุดท้ายไปดึงผู้ใดเข้ามาในห่วงหัวใจของสองเฮาลืมสัญญาลืมคำเว้าบอกคือเก่าจะเปลี่ยนไปมีคนใหม่ไม่เหมือนเดิมอ้ายสาวหมอลำก็คือน้องน้ำตาน้องเต็มสองฝั่งย้อนได้ลืมเป็นความหลังทุกอย่างมันเข้ากับเราเธอ I'm crying I'm so sad you playboy you bad boy you let me down
ใจมันยังกำมอนคือดอนเมื่อตอนคู่เคียงยังกันตื่นเศร้าขึ้นมาเห็นหน้าทุกวันเดี๋ยวนี้นะหันไปบ่เห็นไทยแห้งแล้วสิลุกจากบ่อนอกจากง่วงนอนนั่งเฮ็ดบ่ได้ไว้เนาะเหลือใจหลายหูบ่เป็นลายต่างความหาข้างสองเฮาห่างเปิดทางยากเจ้ามาลืมคำ
อ้ายสาวหมอลำก็คือน้องน้ำตาน้องเต็มสองฝั่งย้อนลืมเป็นความหลังทุกอย่างมันทำก็เพราะเธอ I'm crying I'm so sad you playboy you bad boy you let me down
ทิ้งจะพูดอะไรก็ง่ายไปหมดน้ำตาที่ไหลมาแต่ละหยดต้องแลกกับรักและเชื่อใจแม้ไม่ได้มีกันแล้วจะบอกว่าเราต้องอยู่ให้ได้พูดง่ายเกินไปไหม Hey I'm crying I'm so sad you bad girl fading girl selfie ruin
อ้ายใส่บอกว่าฮักตั้งแต่น้องใส่บอกว่ามีแค่เฮาสองสุดท้ายไปดึงผู้ใดเข้ามาในห่วงหัวใจของสองเฮาลืมสัญญาลืมคำเว้าบอกคือเก่าจะเปลี่ยนไปมีคนใหม่ไม่เหมือนเดิมอ้ายสาวหมอลำก็คือน้องน้ำตาน้องเต็มสองฝั่งย้อนลืมเป็นความหลังทุก top I'm crying I'm so sad you playboy you bad boy you let me down heyคนเคยอกหักใจมันสิจำแต่เรื่องเก่าบ่มีผู้ใดลืมมันได้ง่ายดอก